SCP-2020 will frequently attempt to engage personnel in conversations regarding its desire to write science fiction and numerous ideas it has for science fiction stories.
So ever since the very first SCP video that I reacted to, I've wanted to do more. There's been a number of different SCP animations that I've done reactions to so far, and they're definitely the more popular of the genres on this channel that we like to cover. I really like horror stuff too, but SCP is really fascinating, and up until this point, I've really only done one SCP reaction a week, and I'd like to add a little bit more. I'd like to increase the frequency. And because you guys like it so much, and I have so many requests, I decided to try to get a permission from a few more channels. Now, they aren't the typical animations like usual. I'd like to do more reactions to those animations, but I just don't have permissions from some of the channels that are heavily requested, like Tat's Top Videos and the Rubber animations. I would love to get permission from those guys, even Lord Bung, the guy that does the Confinement series, but I haven't gotten any replies from any of those guys. Who I do have permission to, though, not to be second choice or anything, but there are other SCP channels that aren't animated. Now, we just did one from the Exploring series, and you guys seem to really like that. And there's still a couple other channels that I'm going to be doing SCP reactions to, and we're going to look at some of them this week. One of them being SCP Illustrated, and the other one being TheVolgun. And we're going to be reacting to one from TheVolgun today. A while back, I asked myself, I wonder if there's an SCP-2020. Wouldn't that be something? Because this year has been crazy, you know? And I actually found one, and it's on TheVolgun's channel, and it's about an extraterrestrial. You know, the little guys with the big bulging eyes and elongated slender features that you see in the movies that are supposed to depict what aliens look like. Yeah, one of those. It's in a classroom version from a persona of a researcher named Dr. Miller, where he does an SCP reading. So it's not animated, it has a picture and some scrolling text, but we're going to react to it anyway. Make sure to go on over to TheVolgun's channel, guys. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you like reaction videos like this, make sure to subscribe to this channel as well. Let's get into the reading.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Dr. Miller.
Hi, Dr. Miller.
And the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-2020.
2020, the alien.
Object class, Euclid-exsequi.
Exsequi, okay. Means it's
special containment procedures.
That means it's specially, it has special containment
SCP-2020
procedures.
is kept in a Type 4 humanoid containment cell at Site 17.
Okay.
Standard amenities and precautions associated with T4HCC are in place.
Whatever that means.
Dietary Supplement 2020-9, consisting of 1.4 kilograms of used shredded paper, is to be provided daily. SCP-2020 cell is to be monitored for any unusual activity, with all vocalizations transcribed. 128 grams of tissue samples from SCP-2020 are kept at Subsite Bio-17. Access to SCP-2020 or its biological samples are to be approved by the head of SCP-2020's research team.
I wonder what's up with its samples.
Description: SCP-2020 is a sapient humanoid entity, approximately 2.2 meters in height and 70 kilograms in mass.
Yeah, that's
SCP-2020 possesses unusually long and thin limbs, as well as facial features commonly associated with gray aliens. See file photo.
Yeah, gray
green coloration.
Well, so it's got a bright green coloration, but it looks like what you see in the photo, which is basically the typical space alien. You know what I mean? So these things weigh 70 kilograms, but they're like 2.2 meters. So that's like a 7-foot tall human being, a little over 7 foot tall, and weighs like very, very little in compared to someone that would be that height. All right.
SCP-2020's body is composed primarily of a novel form of natural rubber that appears to serve skeletal, muscular, circulatory, and endocrine functions.
So it's all rubber.
SCP-2020's digestive system and nutritional requirements are consistent with its diet, which consists entirely of paper and water.
Paper and water. So what's strange about that is if it can only eat paper, that's a man-made product. paper's not something that just grows. Like, it has to be made. It's a product of wood. I mean, you could literally make it from other materials as well, but again, it's made. Like, a human or an animal can feed on vegetation, and the flora and fauna of the world. This thing only eats man-made products. That's so weird.
SCP-2020 has not shown any signs of growth or aging since recovery.
Okay.
Further study of SCP-2020's biology has been hindered by the rubber's toughness and resistance to tearing, which renders standard methodologies ineffective, as well as its dissimilarity to terrestrial biology.
Okay.
SCP-2020 claims to originate from a technologically advanced extraterrestrial civilization, but will make wildly different claims regarding the nature and location of this civilization when questioned. Given the circumstances of SCP-2020's recovery, see document Belinkin-Roswell 2020, this avenue of research is nonetheless considered viable.
Okay.
SCP-2020's behavior suggests that it shares many psychological similarities with humans, such as the ability to learn, a desire for interaction, and partial understanding of social norms.
It's intelligent.
It is fluent in English and responds to the names Artie, Bobby, and Izzy. It is not engaged in hostile behavior and appears indifferent to its own containment.
Alright.
SCP-2020 will frequently attempt to engage personnel in conversations regarding its desire to write science fiction and numerous ideas it has for science fiction stories.
So it's creative as well.
It has thus far failed to produce any actual writing, citing an inability to choose a concept. See attached transcript for details.
So it's indecisive. Okay.
Addendum. Excerpt from Interview 2021 ASO. SCP-2020 was permitted to speak to researcher King on any topic it wished.
No, wait, guys, I have an idea. A better idea. There's this facility, right? It was made by someone at some time in the past to bring the whole world back from the apocalypse.
It's
Like,
speaking.
Something could blow a big hole in the earth, and the facility went game over. Play again. Why slash him? That hole could just be the Marianas Trench, because the facility can do pretty much anything with physics and technology, I think. Cliche, right? I don't really know how exactly this fits into a story or anything, but I mean, it could be the setting, I think. I guess I can think. Guys, I had another idea. Forget that one. This one is a brain in a jar. There's a guy. Cliche, right? But like, the idea here is that I just run with it. Crazy, nutty professor type. Nutty inventions that don't work. Complete nonsense. But it's all working, guys. The guy and his inventions could be like a superhero or something. A germy vacuum. The vacuum brain in a jar with germs. That sounds wrong. I'll think of something.
It's
okay though, because
very
I just
incisive.
got this awesome idea. There's a wizard. Wait for it. From space. A space wizard. Guys, that's not the only part though. He's a cyborg. And he's with five cat girls. And guess what the twist is? That's right. The cat girls, also cyborgs. And they fight crime. Cliche, right? I mean, but it's
Cliche,
not,
right?
because they're fighting
Space crime?
Crime in space. Does that make sense, guys? The story would be about them being cyborgs and fighting crime. Actually, no, because I just got a better idea.
He's
Wait,
definitely
it's an
indecisive.
AI, right? An artificial intelligence on a computer. Cliche, right? Well, it makes simulations of the perfect world for that person, and then it eats their brains. Guys, but maybe it's not actually doing that. And I guess the characters don't know for sure that it's actually doing that because we can't see inside it. But
Alright.
here's a plot twist though. It then puts a fake brain in them and makes the bodies convince other people to go into the simulation. It's a horror story, or a sci-fi horror story. Science horror story. Wait, guys, here's another idea for
What
you.
the heck?
I
He
just
has
got this
these
idea.
just crazy ideas and he just keeps going on and on and on about them, and it all sounds like cheesy horror movies. There's a couple other examples here as well. All right, I just went through another couple of examples of dialogue here, but I want to get to the nitty-gritty because I feel like it's going on a little long.
Okay, wait. But seriously, better idea. Guys, there's this alien, right? Like they have in the movies.
Uh-huh.
With the green skin and the black eyes and everything. Cliche, right? But wait. And for whatever reason, I'll think of that later, it really wants to become a science fiction writer, but it can't stop coming up with ideas long enough to do it. And the twist, here's the twist, is that it's talking to some people. And they're from a government agency that already has all the things it's talking about.
Right.
And they're like, how does it know this stuff? And does it even know it's all real? Right? Wait. 2 words. Just 2 words. Laser butt disease. Wait, guys.
That was 3.
Actually 3? That was 3 words. This is going to be a lot harder than I thought.
What the heck?
Alright. I think that about does it for today.
All right.
Thank you all for listening, and you were all dismissed. Goodbye.
So, it had all of these ideas that kind of summed up a lot of the cheesy science fiction and horror movies that we have today. And it really ended up talking about itself towards the end like it didn't even know that this was the actual situation. It's the weirdest thing. That kind of sums up what 2020 is too. The weirdest representation of history kind of all rolled into one. And we're going through it right now. How strange. I hope you really like this reading, guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to check out TheVolgun. His channel is going to be right here, as well as some other SCP videos that I reacted to here. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off, and we'll see you next time.
Break it down.